that looks horrendous in there. Oh, y'all should not judge. Can't make some of this stuff up. All right, I wanted to take this golden moment to share some intimacy with all of you. Lee has been reminiscing. 21 is a good age to reminisce. You know, PTSD, the recycling of the past, is necessary to ensure our survival. It's a way of our body telling us, I don't want to ever want to go do this again. So it revisits from time to time. But it's tormenting. It's tormenting, and it is a big waste of time in totality. It's tormenting because it pops up in your day, pops up from time to time. But the one thing I will share with both of you sitting in front of me is that I've survived through some of the most horrendous things in life. I had a gun pulled on me. And when they tell you all, when you look down the barrel of a gun, it looks like that big. I think I saw the bullet. For some reason, when it's amazing when someone pulls a gun on you, your eyes just become like telescopes. It just stares right down the barrel for some reason. There's a reason why I went into the protection agency and industry, right? Because my life's been traumatic. And there was a reason why in my younger days I wanted to become a cop. Just because lack of feeling safe, right? Lack of things out of control. My point to both of you is that my entire life is hell, hectic, all sorts of bad people, violent people, supremely violent people in my past. Some of those aggressors still lives until this very day. And I have a chance, and I have a choice to call detectives and put them in jail because the statute of limitation does not expire for what they did. The statute of limitation in Florida does not expire for what they did. They live right down 22nd Avenue and 9th Street. But you don't ever see me sit and look lost, right? I look intentional, I look alert, bright, and always doing something that contributes for the next day, for the days ahead. You won't ever see me sit there and think about the past. It's because it's completely over. Completely in its entirety over. And the guy who pulled his gun on me so happens to be in the stories that I have told. Still lives in Tampa to this very day. And I had to forgive him quick. Because he wasn't right in the head, and I knew that. All of us knew that in our group. He pulled his gun on me while we were working in Lakeland at night, in front of dozens of people. Dozens of people at Florida Orange, Lakeland, Florida. So I had to come up with answers quick to close the chapter quick and move on quick. I couldn't sit there and dwell on it and decide whether, you know, the legal system should get involved in it. I had to decide quickly if he was still a threat, a living threat, a continuous living threat that could come here and revisit the past. People think, people look at me and they're like, you look so young and happy and da da da. No, I've gone through hell a couple of times. I've been homeless 3 times in my life. Lost everything 3 times in my life. And this is the very first time the world gets to hear that a gun was pulled on me at age 25 years old. So my whole life was being a victim of this, being a victim of that, and the victim game, right? I can pull the victim card, right? Rightfully so, as it is documented. Matter of fact, I can call him right now on one of these phones right here and be like, hey, how you doing? You remember that one time you pulled a gun on me? Why don't you tell these people? It was a custom 45, 1911. And it was an argument, and we egged it on, and both of our egos went at it. And he lost his cool. He says, well, guess who can draw fastest? And he drew. And I froze. Violent encounters. And likewise, I was also on the other end of the spectrum, of which I share with you, Christina cheated on me with my best friend, and how I showed up to the wagon flea market, and he had no way out. It was one way in and one way out. And I looked at him and I said, I just want to let you know I forgive you. And I walked away. And I was at peace. And the kid wrote me 7 pages of an apology, and I still kept it. I scanned it, I still kept it. It's in that red box over there on my glasses. What's in that black box? In there, and there is a red box over there. It's external hard drive.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Oh no, it's in the room. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
But the letters was written in pencil, and the kid sat there, and the kid recalled every memory we ever shared. He cheated. He was having sex with my then girlfriend before becoming a monk, by the way. And don't get it twisted, y'all. But so I used to be a lifeguard for the city of Clearwater. The kid actually drew a lifeguard buoy in the pages. I didn't expect it, but I read the letter and I was at peace. I was at peace before I received the letter because the power of forgiveness. I'm telling both of you all this so that you all look at your past one last time. For the sake of time. For the sake of time. Time that we don't have much together. And I'm feeling it by the days that passes. I think sometimes you can pick up the fact that it looks like a lot of weight on my face. Not as in like pounds, but you know what I'm saying? And things are moving really fast on my end. Really slow on your end, but really fast on my end. So my thing for you both is that come to terms with the past quickly. Quickly. And I have to remind myself, one's 21, one's 47. What is the middle way in both of them? And I just pray that you would find the answers quick within your mind and within your heart. And as you are alone by yourself and to yourself and with yourself, that you would reflect it and you would establish a policy that says, I got it. These are the things that happened to me. I'm gonna store it. I'm gonna put it away. I'm gonna see it one last time. I'm gonna live it one last time. I want to see it clearly again. And you write it one last time. I've never actually went back to any of my diaries or journals. I don't think I want to. And I want to move on. And I did move on. And you're watching me move on. It's just like light years now behind me. But just imagine if I was in your shoes up until this present day. How the hell could I exceed this fast? And the one thing that made me surprised was your realization of how much time you don't have and how you said it over and over again. And hopefully you take that very seriously. Um, I, I, I hope to inspire both of you through my own stories. That in the age of realization, and so, you're 21, so technically you have till 23, 24. I made my decision to close the chapter between 25 and 27. Like, that's it. It was tormenting enough. So anyone that supersedes me between that age, you can say you've superseded your teacher in regards to closing the gate and door on the past. But technically, time is allotted for you unless you want to really take that amount of time to really think about it over and over again. I was a little slow. Slow in such decisions, but after that, I realized I need to get on this accelerated pace now. This is I think age 27 was the accelerated 1 year silent retreat, which is, let's wrap it all up in this year. This is just the year that we're going to untangle the hairball. So sometimes I want something for you. I'm not sure if you want it for yourself. You got to want it for yourself. You got to really want it for yourself. And hopefully you close the chapter on it, because life awaits you quickly. And the other thing, why have I encouraged you all about Professor Harari? Because he speaks so much about the human. What does the human tend to do, not do? How slow it takes a human to change, and the organism that we are. And had I known about Harari in my 20s, hell, I would have had like 4 PhDs by now. Slow progress. But he gives so much insight into our human condition, our tendencies, our regression, our oppression, our suppressions. And so and the mind will always want to revisit until you really override the damn thing. Now, you all have been in stores where they ask the manager to override, yeah? Yeah? The darn manager goes there with the key. So hopefully, somewhere in your central command center, you override the darn thing one last time. And clear the way to download new information and operate on the new information. And the past has just become junk, garbage, rubbish, trash. Does not serve us anymore. It's a test to see if I could cultivate 2 people to learn this philosophy, to learn about themselves. Number 1, master themselves. And number 2, learn the philosophy and turn around and teach to the entire world. That's going to be. Their show loss is not even funny. We cannot be lost. We cannot be lost in our story. We cannot be lost in our minds. We cannot be lost in our past. We have to come to terms to it quickly. Close the chapter on it. We have so much to do. So much books to read. Daunting. It's scary. You realize the one thing that scares me is that I won't be able to finish through what's in there, and so much overloaded with information, necessary information. That's what scares me. So that's why I read as much as I can. So again, if you want to, and I don't think any other students have ever demonstrated to me, for Christ's sake, about their own dependent origination. No one's ever said, you told me to trace the links of the influence, and I did, and here's proof. Can you proofread it? No one's ever done that. They're so afraid of the past, or so afraid to see it, that they were willing to live with it, to torment them over and over again. And the art of letting go as a teacher, not to be attached onto any of those humans that ever called, the hundreds that call me. I let them all go. I can't sit here and dwell on names. And you go on my phone, on my contact, you just put student, you just type student, and it just, those are the many that I have to let go and not think about. And the hundreds of stories that I've gathered. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You all are intelligent, the right way, the right reason. And try to get past this quickly. Because I know, because all I have to do is look at you all and capture a couple of minutes of you all to realize that you're still living in the past, tormented by the past. And in here, the king Ajatasattu realizing his regret, realizing all these things that he's done, he was like, well, can anyone take this away from me, for me? Can anyone cure me? Can anyone cure me of my past? Can anyone cure me of what I've done? No one can. It's no different. It's Steve Jobs, right? The guy that, CEO Apple, created Apple. Steve Jobs passed away. And before he passed away, he said, I got billions of dollars. I can't pay nobody to take this darn cancer away. But we have the disease of the mind, right? He died of an organic disease, cancer. But have you all ever considered the disease of the mind, which is what the Buddha was? The Buddha was the world's first physician of the mind, first psychiatrist, psychologist, philosopher in the world, because he identified the diseases of the mind and said, I'm going to figure this out. And thus he did. So you have to realize the disease of the mind and what it has done to you. what it is doing to you, and what it will do to you again if you don't tame it one last time. Now, reflect on what I have confessed to you, which is how I have been a victim, blah, blah, blah. That's my entire life. And how I had to, like, bury it, happily bury it, so that I can make way for good, necessary, useful, helpful stuff in my head in order to stay psychologically organized to help people. Now imagine that when people call in, I just sit here and just repeat my past. All of it in details to people. They would have been like, well, this seems to be more about you than it is about me. Somewhere down the line, they would have caught on that the Venerable really hasn't resolved his past. He still has much to do. And I think I'm wasting my time here talking to an unqualified, inexperienced, unauthentic man. Unwise man. Unwise advice. So, that's just my hope for the both of you as you're coming closer. Hopefully you are coming closer. Both of you all. Each day you're supposed to come closer to defeating. Pretend like this table is your mind. You are the general. Right? You sit here, you look at this low table, and you're like, damn, what a battle. So you conquer each corner of this table. And through time, you realize you conquered half the table. And then you only got a little square left here on this table to conquer. You have defeated 75% of Maras in your mind. In the landscape of your mind. Map of your mind. So each day you are supposed to have this determination. Every day you wake up, you set your intention. It's like, you open your eyes and you realize, oh, I can see, I can hear, I can touch, I can smell, I can taste. That means you have another opportunity to do it again. Your life is measured by each day. Those how many hours in a day that is allotted, that your mind lets you room to think, room to fantasize, room to control, room to roam wild in your mind, and room to crack the whip, room to, and all of the puppies in your mind is like, right? Soon as there's a big light right here. So if I turn off the lights, everyone run around wild, act a fool. And you flip on the light switch, and everyone's like, kind of like kids, right? The kids, a pillow fight, right? You let them in a room, and then they'll find something to do. They'll tear something up, right? And they'll take pillows and start whacking each other, right? And then they scream and holler, funny. Then you flip on that light switch, and all of them like doink, like deer in the headlights. But so you have to be aware of the landscape of your mind. It's vast, like the ocean. It runs rampant and wild. It's like, horses running over here. You got elephants going on here. It's wild. A whole world lies in there. Whole world. If you know how to tap into it, and you sit and you meditate, it's a whole world. Hell, that's why it's important to get through the 84,000 teachings or read the biography of the Buddha. It's so graphic in here that when you meditate, you basically live the timeline of the Buddha. You live the monastery that was offered to him. You imagine the patched robes, the kings, the queens. You literally live it. You can literally be in prison somewhere, but have complete freedom in your mind. So I'm doing my part tonight as the teacher. I'm supposed to rest, but clearly after the cupping technique, I'm sitting here capturing the right moment because I think this is once I find an opportunity to teach, I grab that opportunity and I sit and I teach like the good teacher I am, like the good teacher should do, which is regardless of his own health, he needs to expound the words so that your mind is convinced with enough information to act on it, to set your intentions. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna shut the door.
Any questions so far?
Um, so when I'm tracing the links of influence, I go back to the first point as you said that I could remember, right? And start from there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Who you were with, what were you doing, who were you doing it with, what did they do to you, yelling, screaming, drugs, stole something from you, all things that made you angry. Who shaped you? Who was a part of the story that shaped you who you are? Who? What did they say? What did you say to them? How did you contribute to your own suffering? What did they contribute to their own suffering? All that needs to be mapped out once and for all. And it's a good biography, anyways. It's the biography of you. It's an honest, living biography of you. Yes.
Recently, I've been able to feel activity, like right here, in my brain. I feel when it starts getting overwhelmed and overactive and running wild. Feels weird. I can't really explain it. It's odd, but it's. And I noticed it when I started reading the ADHD book. There's been something that's on my mind that's very odd. Like I can feel it doing stuff, and like I can feel it spinning. I don't really know how to explain it.
So good. That's a good thing.
But
That's a good thing. So you see, the teacher tells you what you should do in the beginning, which you didn't, right? I told you to come to terms with the past quickly, close a chapter on it, write it out. You didn't, right?
mm-hmm.
Then we had to move on. Then we have to move on, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which was in progress halfway. Then the discovery of ADHD. So now we're at ADHD with a mixture of CBT, and your past is still lingering. So therefore, your mind is like, it's like power lines, just like down power lines. But now there's more down power lines, just sparking at each other. That's what causing all of this. Like, oh Jesus Christ, I can't concentrate on this right now because what are they trying to say again? Because so much things are running in the background. It's no different than when you try to clear your iPhone. You know, when you slide up, remember, to clear apps. Your iPhone, after a while, with so many apps on there, and the iPhone's like slow, a little too slow, and then start wigging out till you start clearing it. Make sense?
Yeah, but I feel it. It's like right here.
Yeah, because that's called your prefrontal cortex. That is reasoning, trying to reason. But it's hard to reason when crap's sitting back here, still looming and glooming back there. It's like, let's go jet skiing, which you did, and then you see like dark clouds far away moving towards you, and you're like, oh damn, I'm trying to have fun, but I'm guarded of lightning, of storms, and then you're thinking about Coast Guard and rescue and no VHF radio, that thing right there. where's my phone? You start thinking of it, so you don't have. You're like, oh, your brain's like, oh, as you're on the jet ski. That's what's happening.
Yeah, been noticing it recently. Every time I notice it is when I start to get quiet, or you see me meditating, because then it goes away. Kind of like how I couldn't identify stress and anxiety headaches. Couldn't figure out why I couldn't get them to go away. And then I thought about it. And I was like, as soon as I relax, it goes away. No matter what medication I take, no matter what I do. But it's just something, like, I literally can feel my brain, like, the electricity, like, just something I've never noticed before.
Oh, good. As you are more mindful and you're catching it, you're noticing it, this is a good thing. Which is ever compelling, which is more compelling for you to actually go back to the basics of what I told you, so you have nothing to blame on. Who do you blame yourself when you don't do the work, you don't follow the instructions, and you have all of these obstructions along the path of healing? You blame yourself, right? These are the best available science we know how to get past trauma, past the past. Effectively. Keyword here, effectively.
And I know it works. As you see. Because that shut my brain up with that stuff for years. Until I saw it again. And then I was curious to read it. I know it works.
I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna get rid of a bunch of photos that I have that don't serve any purpose at all. I mean, if I see them, even I can face them, but yeah, I'd rather get rid of them. Never go back to look at them.
You rather make more, better, newer memories.
That's right. Yay! Absolutely. It's gone. Like you said, it's over. Game over. Superman. I suffered a lot.
Ooh, my left leg is falling asleep. You better wake up. Feels funny, like a funny bone on my left foot. Oh, God. Getting old. So that's why we're having this talk. It's a check-in. Check in often with the mind. Check in with the referee of the mind. For that reason. You know. Because I want you all to have a clear mind as much as possible. It's not gonna be perfect. Even that some days I don't have a clear mind. I'm just like, oh God. It was rough. It was rough today.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to tame people at the office, and I was just like, I don't know how they survive this long in life, truly. And you know, so again, you clarity, and that's another thing. Is I hate my darn phone, because as I'm listening to Harari, it jumps, and then I'm like trying to bring it back, and he's got like God, Lord knows how many podcasts he's done, but he talks about the importance of clarity of mind. I'm telling you, this man has reached once returner or no returner, for him to like go into depth, emphasizes, and what he's talking about, it's only surface level. He knows more. Just takes one to go deep into his mind, but he talks about clarity. That's what you need, is clarity in your life. And earlier we spoke about decision making process, right? You need clarity instantly. You know, it's like both of y'all have had girlfriends before becoming a monk, and you all know that, like, for example, when police officers investigate domestic violence, right? Well, when they get there, it's like hectic. They like split everybody up. You go over there. You go over there. And then they need the story. What the hell happened? But what they're looking for is clarity. In the midst of all the emotions and in the midst of all the allegations, right? All sorts of crap. He done pushed me. We were fighting over the TV, and his baby mama done text while we were watching TV, and then like the cop has to like. And when did he put his hands on you? And you pushed him back. Right? They need clarity to make a decision quick. To see if a law was violated, so they can move the hell on, because we got calls holding. So clarity is very important in one's life. And every time when your mind does the things that it does, you are taking too much luxury of time to entertain it. You're trying to pull a Vinoy in your mind. Luxury. Yo. Any rules, so I can just play in my mind and literally run around in the soccer field of nonsense. You know what I mean? Literally a soccer field of nonsense. So, yeah. So, you know, like, you'll never see me look lost. The day that you catch me looking like I'm lost, time to call the nursing home.
So like our friend earlier.
Because I have clarity.
Our friend earlier.
Majority of the day. Like 98% of the day. Alright, well. Alright, what's fair and what's not fair? So it's not fair to y'all because y'all don't have a job that requires clarity that much, right? Because it like literally the phone can ring right now, and all of a sudden like someone's gonna die, and I have to be like, who, name, date of birth, and I have a whole database, you know, this laptop and stuff like that, you know, to to like figure it out, you know what I mean? So my job does condition me to be a little bit more. And that's why you were assigned to do the 4 hour thing. I mean the final test, so that it keeps your mind luminous. Is that you work labor during the day, and then you come home, and I ask you in the most humane way, no, humanitarian way, which is, are you tired? No? Oh, great. We'll give them a challenging task that sparks cognition, you know, so that you need clarity in those moments. Like when you're searching for those answers, you need clarity right now, because you focusing on that question, and these are the answers, and these are the multiple choices. You need to find the right one right now. You can't think of the past or the future. You notice that?
Yeah, that's right.
But there's a reason why I did it, right? Because I could have done it, but there's a reason why I handed it to you. You.
I know.
Oh, good. You haven't been given that task yet. One day you will. But you all need to prepare always that I am going to put you through a test. And it is always to see how clear you are. Clear like Clearwater Beach. Clearer than Clearwater Beach, damn it.
Keys.
Okay? And you need to make clear decisions right there and then. Now, when we were at the Vinoy, and that gal, none of y'all picked that up. Number one, you don't have the wisdom to pick up what I picked up. And when I glanced from that gal, clarity, instant clarity. And my dad, when you see him, and when you ask him questions, and when you ask him to interpret something, watch for clarity. Your doctors, watch for clarity. Hey doc, what's going on with this thing? And watch how clear they explain things and then just play dumb. It's like, oh, I still don't get it. You know, they become more clear, luminous. So hopefully y'all get it, right? And hopefully I'm living example that, you know, if he gets it and he's luminous at night like this, I can also be luminous. I don't have to chill in the dark all the time. You need to chill towards the light and start creating your own light. Make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're really exhausted.
I've been exhausted since I got home, but I've been forcing myself to keep going.
Physical exhaustion, no problem. Mental exhaustion.
Well, both. But
So feel the torment. You haven't suffered enough to be determined to get past it.
well,
The only time I'm going through physical mental torment is because I'm working a very heavy case. Best believe somebody paying a lot of money for my headache. Best believe. Which you have seen me exercise my role, duty, and responsibility as an interpreter when I'm working. So as long as they start arguing or wasting my time, but that's the only time, because I have to think of details and stuff like that, and you know, some of these things. If you ever get bored and you want to fly through my files here, go ahead, go look at the details of that. And okay, but again, you gotta ask yourself, you know, physical exhaustion, piece of cake, sleep that off. But it is when you are awake and this thing start playing tricks on you and wrestling with you, and literally wrestling with you, and it shuts you down and it devoids you from achieving clarity so that you can think more clearer. That's a big problem. You have a virus on your hand. You have living bacteria running around in your head. So get your little Raid spray and find it and spray the cockroach in your mind. So anyways, it was good, because this is why both of you need to be honest with me so that I can catch it. Sometimes if you're silent and you just run and you hide from me, I can't catch it. It dodges the spotlight. I'm like the spotlight that, you know, oscillates back and forth. But through honesty, I'm able to catch it, and I'm able to start hypothesizing and then capture the right moment to sit both of you all down to have these reminders. You need these reminders because sometimes down the line, a little lawyer in your head battles with you and battles with me. So then it just delays more time and procrastinates, and it doesn't do what needs to be done. That's why it's repetitive talk over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Why do Catholic priests say, never tired of forgiving? Never tired of asking for forgiveness? Because they know the lawyer in people's heads don't want to forgive and don't want to ask for forgiveness. Get what I'm saying? It doesn't. I hate you. I don't like you. You, right? It just makes up mind to compound hatred or resentment or anger. Yeah, that's why church is necessary. That's why the Lord done said, keep the holy Sabbath day. What he meant to say was, keep coming because you forget all the time, dude. Get the point? A lot of people misses the point. That's the point. So, all right, it's getting late. So, y'all do what y'all got to do. I'm going to deactivate this live. So if you forget, you can go back to the live and you can listen to it again. Any last questions? Good? No? You might as well go in there and sleep for like 5 hours.
I'm gonna sleep, and I'm gonna do some links of influence when I wake up. Instead of going to work, I'm gonna work on that. I'm doubling down. I gotta get it done.
Because if you don't rest, you might need an IV soon.
Thank you.
Extreme self mortification. Let's not get there.
That's what you said about it's over. Yeah, it's a good. I actually just bought that hat. Game over. It's a good reminder.
So if you don't rest, it'll be game over for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like reminders to close. I remember at one point I needed some self motivation, motivation,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought a pair of Air Force Ones that said "Just do it" all over it.
Oh, nice. I mean, yeah. I mean, we do things right to try to help our little journey. Way back when we didn't know better.
Oh no, I knew
Go ahead.
that's why I bought them.
Oh, you did? I know.
I knew because I wouldn't just do it, and every time I put my shoes on, they'd be like, "Okay, let's do it."
But yeah, it's so true. You know, I went through so much of my own self.
You know, so if things work out and I can have my darn monastery or stay somewhere and take you all with me, and all you have is clothing to wear, a pen, and a notebook at a monastery in Thailand, you ain't got nowhere to go. You have no choice but to face it. And then and time flies by, like an hour feels like a week. So you realize, oh crap, there's nothing to do. I must well sit there and do the one thing that he told me to do 5 years ago. I might as well do it now. Unless you want to sit there and draw, Bart Simpson. Or, Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers doing backflips. So, that's, I am done. I should stop talking before your head explodes. Thank you y'all for listening. TikTok gets a kick out of all this.